It's showtime. And that is a really good thing to remember when you get stuck in the mud, looking to be ready for the perfect moment to move forward. Hello, 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 and welcome to More Than Money, a podcast where we have nuanced conversations about money, business, and life, where we take the time to explore the human side of money. Because success with money is never just about the numbers. I'm your host, Jacquette Timmons, and I am really, really glad that you are here with me today. Whether this is your very first episode or one of many, welcome. And before we get into today's episode, I wanted to let you know that there is still time to book your Summer of Love session. This is where you have a chance to celebrate your financial journey thus far and to see if how you think you're spending your money is how you are actually spending your money. It's a chance to see if you are ahead, behind, or maybe just on track with your revenue goals, or quite frankly, with any of your goals, financial or otherwise. In short, this is a chance to check in on your current financial status and to see what behaviors and choices need to be tweaked so that you can finish the year strong or maybe even stronger. And so that makes the end of the summer or almost the end of the summer a perfect time to take a step back and gain a fresh perspective on your financial goals and your progress. And then with a clear set of eyes, determine what needs to change and how do you move forward? So, the Summer of Love Financial Edition is a 90-minute financial checkup, review, and clarity session. And it is an experience that is designed to, again, have you reflect back, get you on track, or maybe even just strengthen the track that you were already on. I've opened my calendar for just 10 spots, so grab yours now. And all you need to do is send me a DM on Instagram with the word summer, and we will get you the link so that you can get started and book your session. In the meantime, let's get into today's show. So, quote, we don't go on because we are ready. We go on because it is 11:30 p.m. Eastern. The Eastern part is what I added, but that's end quote. I was listening to Guy Raz's podcast interview of Keenan Thomas, where he shared how this quote is something that he has heard Lauren Michaels say for years. And it is a quote that I can definitely relate to. Because regardless of how many times that I have practiced for a speaking engagement or how many edits I take a piece that I have written through, at some point, it is showtime. Ready or not, there is a deadline that has to be honored, and the talk has to be given or the publish button has to be pressed. But the statement also struck me because it made me think about the decisions, the choices, and the tasks that you and I need to make, yet don't. And in my line of work, I see how inertia can manifest in a variety of ways and in various aspects of your money, your business, and your life. On the surface, you or others actually might interpret inertia as laziness. In truth, though, it is probably due to an emotional or psychological trigger. This was certainly true in my case. Even though I did not want to be one of those people who worked in financial services but didn't practice what they preached, even though I wanted to follow my mother's example, her excellent example, because she had all of her affairs in order, including her estate planning, even though I knew it was an important part of my financial planning process that needed to be addressed, I didn't get my revocable trust created until 2021, after having it on my to-do list for 7 years. It was like walking around with an invisible elephant on my shoulder, one that was always present, enough to make me aware of its existence, but not so heavy that I was actually ready to do something about it. until the COVID pandemic hit. And maybe you can relate. Maybe you can relate because you too have been putting off getting your estate planning taken care of. And look, I get it because the process of getting it done is very, very emotional. Yet it is such a relief that it is now done. And, besides, I just feel so responsible. Or maybe you're putting off something else. Maybe you're putting something else off, like getting medical tests done, or writing your book proposal, or letting a team member go, or maybe even on the flip side, hiring a new team member. Maybe you are putting off reviewing your investment portfolio or reviewing your suite of offers or products. So that offer and product portfolio. Or maybe you're putting off decluttering a closet, a room, or a garage. Or maybe even getting a head start on planning that, family or friend trip / vacation that has been on your mind, but you haven't yet gotten started with the process. And I could go on and on with examples because this is not meant to be an exhaustive list, nor have I just ticked them off in any particular order. Rather, it is to show the variety of decisions, choices, and tasks that you need to make, yet aren't. And to remind you of Newton's first law of physics, the one that says an object at rest tends to stay at rest, and an object in motion tends to keep moving. And most of what's on that list that I've just ticked off may not be physical, but the first law of physics is still relevant. And it's relevant because often what stops you from taking action are fear, confusion, or believing you have time. Fear because you don't want to make a mistake, or maybe it's because you're not sure that you are actually ready to let go of what's familiar. Confusion because perhaps the goal and the end result, maybe that is very, very clear. You know what you want, but you aren't sure of where or how to get started so that you can actually move from point A to point B. And I previously talked about the illusion of time. And if you haven't heard that, you can check out episode 224 for that. But as a result of this illusion about time, you delay and you defer because you keep telling yourself it can wait. And perhaps since this has worked thus far, and I say work in quotation marks, it can for a little while longer. Or so that's what you tell yourself, right? But then the question becomes, should it? You can break the cycle of resistance vis-a-vis inertia by doing a few of the following things. One, start small. Make a micro decision or choice, or take a small step. The small step I took was emailing the attorney my mother used to say to him, I'm ready to get my affairs in order. Maybe the equivalent for you is to ask for a referral for an estate planning attorney. Here's another thing that you can do. Focus on milestones. Set goals. Absolutely. Yes, do that. But focus on the milestones that you need to hit as you are working your way toward fulfilling that goal, so that with each milestone, you are actually creating some momentum. Or maybe instead of trying to declutter an entire closet or garage in one weekend, you target an area instead, right? So you can have a small win. And here's another thing that you can do. Tell someone. Ask someone to be your accountability partner, someone that you trust to share what decision, choice, or action you are continually deferring and delaying. And as important, maybe even why you have been continuing to defer and delay it. Because that accountability partner can truly make all the difference in terms of helping you to push through the resistance and or provide you with some clarity that helps to keep you on track. Remember, inertia isn't due to laziness often, but also nothing changes if nothing changes. And this brings me back to the quote, it's always showtime. Or that's my way of describing it anyway. And I bring that up because do I lose business because a firm or a person chose to work with another speaker or another coach? Absolutely. But you know what? I lose, quote unquote, lose more opportunities because folks are deferring or delaying a decision because they are waiting to be ready. And this is the other thing that struck me about Lauren Michaels' statement. It reminded me that the biggest competitor I have to someone, a business or a person choosing to work with me is actually inertia. And the same is true when it comes to someone heeding the insight that I share with my words, whether it is in writing, on a social media post, on my blog, in my email newsletter, or maybe even that second book that I'm thinking of, or even here on the podcast. On my end, it is always showtime. And barring significant crises, when people get stuck in the mud, looking to be ready for the perfect moment to move forward, part of my job is to remind them how they are getting in their own way. And that is the purpose for today's episode. Maybe you are putting off something from your list of decisions and choices to make or tasks to complete. Maybe you have a different type of monkey on your shoulder than what I've listed above. However, if peace of mind is one aspect of how you define financial success, any decision, choice, or task that you are deferring or delaying due to inertia is getting in your way. Making inertia the biggest challenge to your financial success and overcoming it a key component to your well-being. Well, that is a wrap for today, folks. As always, thank you for listening, especially all the way to until the end, and maybe even watching if you are joining us on YouTube. If you'd like to show appreciation for this podcast or perhaps this particular episode, please do me a favor and share it so that we can reach more people than we ever could just on our own. And if you happen to be listening on Apple Podcasts, please take a moment to leave a rating and a review and go on ahead and give us a 5-star, why don't you? And we do read the reviews. But most important, I shouldn't say most important, but as important, we need that because it is what helps us with the algorithm so that we can show up when people are searching for podcasts that talk about money, business, and life. Yes. And the last thing is if you are on YouTube, please take a moment to comment. And of course, if you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can do that by going to buymeacoffee.com/Jaquette, buymeacoffee.com/Jaquette. Oh, and don't forget about the Summer of Love Financial Edition. If that's something that you want to do, send me a DM on Instagram with the word summer and we will get you all squared away so that you can get started. Again, thank you for listening and or watching. I'll be back with another episode and I hope that you will too. Until then, remember, it's about more than money.